we will be covering a few topics today about the universe. So whatever you need to know about the universe in context of manifestation. I think manifestation is a combination of your efforts and whatever the universe has designed for you. So it is very important to know how the universe fits into this equation. So day 2 will be everything you need to know about how you fit into the equation as a human being. And day 3, I will be giving you the method that I use to manifest by design, manifest in the way that I am designed to. Okay. And knowing all this information is important to have that last part, the last piece of the puzzle. I will be giving you a lot of information in these 3 days. So make sure that you absorb as much as you can. So I believe in knowing your teacher. So I believe in knowing who you're learning from, where they're coming from, what their qualifications are, what their experience has been, so that you know what is the source of the knowledge that you're gaining right now. So if I just tell you my background, I have been to medical school. So I was a dentist, prosthodontist to be precise. So prosthodontist is a person who does masters after dentistry. I went to school for prosthetics. So basically giving people artificial body parts pertaining to their head, neck, and sometimes their fingers and feet as well. So it includes everything from dental implants to crowns, to missing parts of their face or mouth and even eyes. So I did all that. All right, so I will be sharing the whiteboard when I need to explain something. So at that point, I will just pull it up. Okay, if that's fine. Yeah, so I have a medical background. I grew up in a scientific household. Thank you, Rohan. So I grew up in a scientific household. Both my parents were doctors and we had a hospital. So I was always like playing around in the hospital as a child. And there was basically no space for spirituality in our lives. My parents, they believed in God, but they did not engage in any kind of religious practices. They always encouraged free thinking and going wherever you want to go. And I have been very fortunate in that regard, that I got the opportunity to explore things on my own. And since the beginning, I have been exposed to psychic phenomena, to spiritual experiences, and I have always been questioning this part of me, but I never paid good attention towards that part because I was being scientifically trained, wanted to become a doctor and all of that. So I completely ignored my this part until maybe 25th year of my life. That is when I had a very highly spiritual experience where my grandfather's spirit visited me from 2000 kilometers away. So what happened was he was in a coma and he was passing away, but I didn't know that. I was on a trip somewhere in Kerala, and I just happened to feel this immensely emotional energy like all around me, just like enveloping me, and I just burst out crying, and everybody was like, what happened to you? And I just canceled everything. I went home, and then I slept, and in the morning I just got a message that he passed away. And after that, like, that was just the beginning. I thought that was a big spiritual event, but that was just the beginning of me getting back to spirituality in a big way. And then I happened to be selected amongst 500 people to study past life regression therapy at a private school in Bangalore. And I did that, and that's where I met so many different people who were on the same path as me. And I learned how to access your past lives and how to help other people do that for the purpose of healing. And then I went on to learn Reiki healing from a very, very experienced teacher. And that again opened up new pathways for me of healing. And I healed myself before beginning to teach others. So I was healing myself maybe for about 2 or 3 years continuously. And during those 3 years, a lot happened where I basically lost everything that I had. So this is a big thing when it happens when you are on the spiritual path and when you take up the self-healing path. The things that are not meant for you on that path will just drop away. And initially, yes, it can be traumatic and it can be difficult, but then you will realize that that was the best thing that ever happened to you, right? So nothing to be afraid of in this journey. We just need to have the tools and the knowledge that can support us if this happens. It doesn't always have to, right? That is who I am. I also do psychic readings. I do past life regression sessions, Reiki healing sessions. And I have been using manifestation in my life for a very long time now. I didn't know that this was called manifestation. I was just visualizing as a child, daydreaming, and those things were used to just come true as it is. And that was very shocking to me. And I used brain waves, I used affirmations, I did like a lot of self-healing growth. And despite doing all of that, there were times in my life where I did not know what to do next because everything was so ambiguous. So this happened quite recently after coming to Canada here, because my career, everything was taken away as a part of that spiritual growth that happened. So I was just standing in a place where I did not know what I should do with my life. And so being in that place, I just really looked inwards, and I started uh, learning how to know what the universe wants from me, basically. So that was when I delved into this very deeply and got to know about all of this. And I started applying this uh, since like 1.5 1 year before. And as soon as I adopted this methodology in my life that I will tell you on day 3, everything just started happening on its own. And yes, there was action involved from my side as well, but it was 50-50. So I did something, the universe did something. I did something, the universe did something. So it just kept on going like that. And within a few months, I would say this August, I received 2 emails in my inbox within a span of like 1 or 2 weeks. And those were my 2 dream opportunities. One was a dream business contract with an NGO from the US, where I have to conduct workshops like these for nonprofits, helping people to integrate back into the society using spiritual knowledge, spiritual coaching. And another one was a dream job as a UX designer in a psychology company. So I always wanted to work with a psychology company, and using my art, my design sense, my business sense, and all of that has been like combined into this role where I'm working right now. And again, the job is very flexible. I can do the work whenever I want, during the day, night, whenever. And that is why I'm being supported to conduct this workshop and the workshops with the NGOs in the US, everything. So basically everything I ever wanted just happened on its own. So for me, that is true. Things happened for me on their own, but for somebody else who has a different type of a design, they might need to go out and do things in order to manifest them. So again, the universe has designed different people to work in different ways, and we will know how to know that on day 3. So I will start with the today's topic is the mistakes that we make when we are trying to manifest. So can you tell me any kind of manifestation practices that you have done before? I would really like to know what already you guys have tried so that I can know like what is the baseline here. So can you please type in the chat what manifestation practices you have already done and how much success did you see? So Rose says visualization. Some of you might have tried affirmations. Yes. Sherlock Holmes. Is your real name Sherlock Holmes? Sherlock Holmes says affirmations by writing in a journal. It was success. Yes, good. So there is a nuance with the affirmations. So affirmations, if done in the right way, are very effective. But the common way that people do it is just writing them like a homework, like thousands and thousands of times in their journal, and that mostly will not help because that is a left-brained activity. Healed myself from panic attacks in 2007, but stopped meditation practice after I healed myself. That's okay. We are not meant to stick with one practice forever. Listen to your intuition and change up the practices, or just you can even stop a practice after a while if you feel like, and that's not a bad thing. Yeah, so visualization is one thing that is very effective as well, but there is again like the proper way to do the visualization, and I will discuss all of that as well. So before we begin, let's do a 2-minute intention meditation where we dive into a clean space before beginning. So I always do this before beginning to heal anything in life, is that drop into a space where you clear out the noise, right? So there is a lot of noise in our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, our energy, right? So just to clean that up, have a clean slate before beginning, we will do an intention meditation, just 2 minutes. So I'll play some background music and guide you there. Can you hear the music and my voice both? Yes, okay. So just sit down or lie down, whichever way you're comfortable. And take 3 deep breaths with your belly. And hold them for 1 second before releasing. And when you release that breath, just release any stress, any noise that you might be carrying today, any things to do, anything that might be bothering you. Keep taking deep breaths and releasing more and more of your stress. Just clear out the body, clear out the mind. There is nothing else to do today except being here right now. You are allowed to relax. You are allowed to let go. Let your neck be loose. Let your shoulder muscles be loose. Just let your shoulders drop down. Relax all the muscles in the body. while you do that, there might be some thoughts coming up in your mind. Don't try to oppose them or stop them. Just let them be, just let them run. Let your thoughts run, let them go one by one, just observe them, don't judge them. Just mentally clear out your energy by imagining a white light coming from above and enveloping you like a bubble, like a cocoon. That white light is clearing up all your energy, any kind of stress or heavy energy, taking away all your stressful thoughts. And it is relaxing you. It's bringing you to a deep state of relaxation. And now, from this place of calm, we will set an intention. Absorb as much as is meant for us from these 3 days or 4 days. Q&A round. And you have this information integrated into your lives in the best way possible for the highest good of all. Again, we intend to absorb as much information as is meant for us in these 4 days of Manifest by Design and integrate that information in our life in the best way possible for the highest good of all. Take one more deep breath before finishing. Just be relaxed and ready to absorb. That's it. So we have set an intention for everyone, and I hope that you might be feeling quite relaxed, at peace. Yes, so what are the mistakes that everyone makes when they are on the manifesting path? So when I'm talking about mistakes, I mean doing the things that might take you longer to reach where you want to reach, or going into unaligned paths. So that is what I'm talking about when I talk about mistakes, because nothing is a mistake in life, everything is a lesson. Okay, so there's nothing like making a mistake in life. Okay, so when I say mistake, it doesn't mean the actual literal meaning. Okay, So some mistakes are practicing techniques without meaning. So let's say somebody heard a technique on social media, they watched a reel or a story, okay, do this and this and you will manifest XYZ. And what they end up doing is they just go and perform that technique and then they say, oh, but nothing happened. Or they forget about it, right? That's nothing but just a waste of time and sometimes even resources. uh, Usually they are not harmful as such, but it's a wastage of time and resources. So when you are doing a technique that you watch on the social media or anywhere, it usually is like a manifest fast technique, right? It's the tip or trick or something from what we call as witchcraft. So witchcraft is not bad. First of all, if you are doing anything in this world, it is witchcraft because we are working with the universe. We are using our energy, right? We are setting our intentions. So yeah, but proper the thing where people practice proper witchcraft is where they do very specific rituals that lead to very specific results, and that can be used in a positive as well as negative way, where everything has karmic repercussions. So what happens there. So if you practice a ritual without thinking anything just because someone told you to, it's not usually going to have an effect unless and until you actually set the intentions, proper intentions while you're doing it, and you have done the inner work. The base of the ritual, that is the inner work required to have that thing happen for you, right? And I always call these cherries on top. So all the rituals that you do are cherries on top, but the actual cake below the cherries is the inner work that you do before placing those cherries on top. And yes, those cherries on top can work wonderfully when you have the cake already. Okay. So the next mistake people can make is again using tips and tricks and throwing spaghetti at the wall, basically just trying a bunch of techniques and thinking that something will work. Yes, it is good if you want to experiment, go ahead and do that. I have done that in the past, but doing that all the time and then thinking that, oh, manifestation doesn't work, that is again going to the alternate path, that will probably take you longer to reach where you want, right? Then again, doing surface level techniques. People explain techniques such as write this on the paper and um, put this in under your pillow. Yes, it can work because of subconscious programming, but if you don't know why you're doing it, how it works, then it doesn't make any sense, at least to me. And it can be a very surface level thing that people do because they forget the inner work that is required to actually make those things work. Again, there can be a lot of confusion, frustration because of this. If you are someone who wants to achieve something in their life, if you have certain desires, then you are trying to have something outer, like other than you, to work for you as well, right? You are trying to have the support of the universe to work for you as well. And when that doesn't happen, when you feel like there is a lot of resistance and there is a wall in front of you that you cannot seem to dissolve or move, there is a lot of frustration there, right? And that can really affect our mental health because we are trying and trying and trying and nothing is happening. So doing these surface level techniques can again lead to the same thing, right? So everybody has heard about the book called The Secret, right? Have you heard about it? Some people might have listened to the audiobook, might have watched videos about it, or might have read the book itself. It's a very good book if you want to start in manifestation, but again, it only touches the surface. So yes, that was when I discovered manifestation. Me too. I discovered manifestation from it. So again, as I say, nothing is a mistake. You discovered manifestation because of that book, and that is the function of that book in this world, right? So yes, it is a very good book for you to get started on it. And the thing is that it says you can manifest what you want by thinking or by visualizing, right? Yes, it does work to some extent, but there is a stop, there is a ceiling to it. So you don't manifest what you want, but you manifest who you are, right? So you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. So that is the key to manifestation, which they don't talk about in that book, as far as I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So yes, it goes a whole lot deeper than that, than just wanting and then having something happen, because you might want 100 different things and they might not be actually good for you. And I was there as well. I wanted certain things from my career which were not actually good for me, but I wanted them just because that was my ego, my identity, that I had made up, and that came from the societal expectations, right? It didn't come from me, it came from societal expectations of me, and I thought this is what I'm supposed to do, so I will want it, so I will learn to love it. And I even manifested it. So it's not impossible to manifest things that are not meant for you. If you try hard enough and if you use energy techniques and this and that, you might be even able to manifest things that are not good for you. And that's okay, because you learn from them. So again, I went through the whole thing. I went into the things that were not good for me. Then I realized, okay, so it's not good for me. I should change my checklist. I should change the kind of things I'm looking for. And I completely did. And that was against the societal expectations. And that was even against what people normally see in the world, right? And I'll give you an example. So my husband is a master manifester, and he has never done any kind of manifestation work, or he is working on his self-healing right now. But before, when he manifested this, he wasn't actively working on his self-healing, but he has always been a master manifester. Why? Because he is one thing, and that is authentic. So he is 100% pure, authentic person in this world, whether someone likes him or not. So that is, again, you manifest who you are. So if you are authentic, the universe will give you not what you want, but what you are, right? So he knew who he is. So when he came to Canada, I told him, make a checklist of the kind of job that you want, depending on who you are, in alignment with who you are. So he said, but people come to Canada, they go to warehouse jobs, they go to office jobs, they go to food industry jobs, so retail jobs, right? So that is more common. Like, how am I supposed to find this particular checklist of things? I think it's impossible. I said, no, make a checklist according to who you are. And he did, because he's an artist, and he needs the flexibility in his workplace, so that people allow him to express himself, right? So he's a photographer, by the way. So he made a checklist. I need a photography job. I need a job where there is no hard work. I need a job where the boss is not sitting on my head 24/7, right? No micromanaging. I can leave whenever I want. I can come whenever I want. I can do whatever I want, right? I can have my food whenever I want. So all of these things he just wrote down, and he got that job within 3 months of landing the exact checklist. And not only that, like, that's a big example, but small little things he does every day. He manifests very frequently. And I was like, I am doing so much work, and this person is not. Why is he manifesting everything like quickly? The next day, everything just happening next day. I was like, so I studied him actually. So I found that this is the key, because he is 100% authentic. And then I realized that I was not, right? I was going out into the world, becoming another person, like in the way that they wanted me to behave in the world, right? So I'm an introvert. I am on the spectrum of autism. That also I found out recently. So I could not do a very high stimulation job, for example, customer service, where I'm going to get 100 calls a day. I cannot do that, right? So I need not go there, need not take up those kinds of jobs at all. So again, I also made my checklist according to who I am, and then I, over a series of self growth things that happened, I was able to manifest. So again, knowing who you are is again a very big thing for many people, because being authentic in this world is not generally liked by everyone. They don't want you to be truthful, they don't want you to be showing your talents, and they don't want you to be expressing yourself freely. And when you do that, regardless, you reach a certain level where then people start looking up to you. What does he have? What does she have that she is able to attract opportunities so easily, right? And they're not they're not able to figure it out. I'm telling you. So yeah, I'm just reading the chart a little bit. I was supposed to continue the meditation practice in 2007 because that is my authentic self. So it slowed down my soul's evolution, but I'm back on the correct path now. So yeah, if your authentic self wants to meditate, it will find a way back to the same thing again. But it's okay to take breaks. We all need a break from healing as well. So, even the healing space is all filled with doing, 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 doing. And it's okay to take a break from that. So that was when I discovered manifestation. Is this a continuation from the previous? Okay. Okay, heard of it but never read it. I recommend reading it, but that is with the disclaimer that that is very, very basic start to manifestation. So if you want to build the foundation, you can read it, but then it is so much more than that. Law of Attraction by Esther Hicks introduced me to manifestation. Yes, I also listen to Esther Hicks on YouTube a lot. Authenticity is being aligned to your own inner being, correct? So again, what is your inner being? Right? People don't know that. What is my inner being? So we will be learning about that in this day 2 and day 3. Okay. Yeah. So let me just refer my notes here. Yeah. So the person who manifests with ease is self-aware, is authentic, doesn't have to be healed. Again, this was a great narrative that was being pushed in social media before, that you have to be healed to manifest something. Or as an example, if somebody wants to manifest love in their life, romantic love, then they have to completely love themselves, completely healed from relationship issues, from the way of psychology and all of that. But that is not true. If you are authentic in expressing yourself in the world, and if you are self-aware, if you are currently working on your self-healing, self-growth, and you're working on loving yourself, then it is possible to attract love into your life even when you're not 100% healed. Again, nobody is 100% healed. Okay. So that is just again a limiting belief that we put, that you have to be healed to attract something. So it can happen that person that comes into your life provides you the safe space that you need to heal yourself, right? So yeah, it doesn't have to be high vibe all the time as well. So again, high vibration, yes, certain emotions are associated with higher vibrations. I will show you the chart shortly. I will show you that inside when I will talk about the densities of consciousness. Then I'll show you the chart of the emotions. Yes, certain emotions are related to higher vibrations, but it doesn't mean that we ignore the lower, so-called lower vibrational emotions, because they are very important for us to be felt. And that is because that's the whole reason we are here as humans, to experience those emotions. And if we ignore them, then they can create a lot of psychological issues and issues in the body as well. So inner being is your soul, God, higher self, Buddha, Muhammad, etc. Correct. So very right here. Your inner being is all about learning about your relationship with yourself and the universe. So you can consider the universe as God, or you can consider it as Buddha, Muhammad, whatever you believe in. And it is that in relationship. And many people are not able to go to that depth because of what they learn in the society, and they don't go on and experiment on their own, right? So I have manifested an understanding and accepting person in my life because I was authentic with my thoughts and openness towards the world, and he is exactly like that. Great. I'm so happy for you. But then I became a little selfish, and here I am again. Oh, okay. Uh, it's okay. See, not everyone is healed 100%, right? Again, so everyone is on this journey. The important thing in relationship is to have an open communication. So if you're going through something, if you became a little selfish because of something, have an open conversation with them, right, about what you're going through. And that most probably always works. But yeah, so you can also get external help if needed, because sometimes being in the situation, we are unable to see what's going on, right? So next thing that I want to talk about is worthiness, self-worth. So the person who manifests consistently knows what is self-worth. So again, worthiness is something that is being ingrained into us from the very beginning. You know, they say if you get good grades, you will get a gift, or if you get good grades, we will love you, and things like that, we will praise you. So worthiness is being ingrained into us, that we need to be worthy of things in order to deserve them. However, on earth, like the plant is not asking you how much you studied before giving you a fruit, right? The sun is not asking you what your qualifications are before giving you sunlight, right? The earth has provided us with everything, and it's only we humans who have made these walls and these limitations. So we are worth all the happiness in the world just because we are born, right? And that should come from within. Again, that feeling should come from within, that yes, I am worth such and such thing because I am born, right? And there is a difference between entitlement and worth. Entitlement is when you want something at the expense of the other person, right? So again, I will talk about the nature of existence, because there are things in this life which you cannot control. So there are things that you can control, there are things that you cannot control. So we need to understand the nature of existence for that, which I will talk about. So the person who manifests consistently also works with the energy. They know themselves deeply, they express themselves freely because they are not afraid of their self-expression. And basically he or she knows their design, right? How the universe has designed them, and how the nature has designed them to work in this universe. And this is very important, right? And all of this sounds difficult. It sounds like a lot of work, but it is not, because it is your most natural self. Okay, I'll quickly share the difference between healthy ego and an unhealthy ego. So I'll put it on the whiteboard. Okay, so I'll put a photo here. Is the difference between unhealthy ego and healthy ego. I have a few more points as well. So trying to change and hide a natural flaw, so-called flaw, to be accepted in the society, That is unhealthy ego. Again, nothing good or bad, but it's just something to know so that you can switch between these states. So healthy ego is accepting yourself with the so-called good, bad, and so-called the ugly, and so-called the weird, right? Not trying because of your perceived limitations. That is a part of the unhealthy ego. Healthy ego is knowing that most things can be changed if you try, right? Unhealthy ego is ignoring your health for career or treating yourself well only when you feel like you deserve it. And healthy ego is taking care and treating yourself well at all times. Again, doesn't matter where you are, how much you achieved, how much you did, right? Unhealthy is when you are disappointed with yourself when you fail. Healthy is you are loving and supporting yourself at all times. Unhealthy is when you are deeply identifying with your past. Again, this is very natural to do, right? And it's okay to identify with your past, but work on it so that we can learn from the past and connect with your true self. Unhealthy is when making decisions based on past fears, experiences, and beliefs. Healthy is when you know that you have the power to consciously co-create your reality, right? This is what we will be doing in the Manifest by Design. And there is a second photo that I want to share, which is this one. So unhealthy is identifying with only a fixed earthly identity and resenting when you lose it. So this can be an identity in the society or a career or something, something you're doing in the world. And once you lose it, even being a part of a country or something, once you lose it, and you basically lose your identity, and it can be very devastating. Again, very natural to go through, but we have to work towards going into the healthy side, which is knowing who you are as a soul and your dharma. Dharma is basically what you're here to do in this world, and which can be fulfilled in various ways. So you can still live your dharma. If you lose your career, you can still live your dharma in different ways, and you can find that. So unhealthy ego is inflating your strengths and fearing your weaknesses. Healthy is when you work on your strengths and accept your weaknesses as they are or as opportunities to grow. Unhealthy ego is a superiority complex based on your appearance, status, achievements, or talents. And healthy is when you respect everyone regardless of these things. Unhealthy is thinking that you are the expert who knows everything. This is very common with humans. We think we know everything, but healthy ego is being coachable even by someone who is not an expert. So even a person who is not an expert can come to you and say one sentence that can completely change your perspective. So always be coachable and open to learning from everyone, regardless of they are expert or not. But I always say, if you want to take advice, always take it from people who have already done it, what you want to do, right? And even take that with a grain of salt, because um, when I wanted a flexible job as a UX designer, I was talking to these experts in the industry, and they told me it's impossible to get a job as a UX designer without a degree in design or in UX and all that. And I now have the job, so I do not have a degree in any of those things. So taking up a false identity to fit in or impress others and staying authentic is healthy. So unhealthy is when you're hiding your self-expression for the fear of judgments, and healthy is expressing fearlessly, right? So these two things I wanted to share about the healthy and unhealthy ego. If you want these files, I can send them to you on email. And you can also find it on my Instagram profile. Yeah, so how do we do this? How do we achieve the healthy ego? We have to learn about the universe. We learn about ourselves, and we'll develop a concept of self. And we know the exact method to know yourself deeply and live in alignment with that. So all of these things I will be teaching. So I will continue for 10 more minutes, and then we will take a 10-minute break after that. The universe is 99% empty. Now you might ask me, how? Do you know about this, by the way, by the time I set this up? So the universe is 99% empty, 99.9% empty. That is because the atom is 99.9% empty. And there is a huge space that is supposedly doing nothing. And you know that everything is made up of atoms and molecules. Molecules is a collection of atoms, right? So if the atoms are 99.9% empty, that means everything is 99.9% empty. Then what is reality, right? It is such a confusing concept to understand, because we see things in the solid form here in front of us and they are supposedly empty. So this is why, like, reality is an illusion, and we just get caught up so much in this illusion. Yeah, so this is how an atom looks like, right? Electron, protons, and neutrons. So neutrons and protons are in the middle and electrons are all around it. And the thing is that this looks like there's not a lot of space, but in actuality, when you actually view the atom, there is a lot of space that is empty. So just to show you how much empty space is there, if this is a helium atom, basically it contains, I think, 2 protons, 2 neutrons, and 2 electrons, if I'm not wrong. So if you compare that to like how much the space these things are covering, then you can compare it with a huge football stadium, and you put a P, one single P in the middle. That is the nucleus. The rest of the space is like empty, and only 2 electrons are just circling here in this field. So that is how much empty space that there is in the universe, right? And we think that the electrons are particles, just standing there for us to look at, but that's not true. The electrons are always going around the atom at a very high speed, and at particular point of time, we cannot tell where the electron is. That is why we always call it an electron cloud, right? Why am I saying this is because even the electron, proton, and neutrons are made up of smaller particles. And those particles, you can say that those are light particles. I believe that they're light particles. Why? Because one of those particles is photon. So photon is a particle of light, right? So these are called as quantum particles, yes. So the particles which are even smaller than the subatomic particles are quantum particles, and one of those are photons. So photons is a particle of light. So basically you can think of an atom as a light particle combining with other types of light particles, making electrons, protons, and neutrons. And when those electrons, protons, or neutrons are arranged in a particular manner, they make a particular atom. And when that atom is arranged in a particular manner, it makes a molecule, right? That's how you have your elements, different elements. And from those elements, we have everything that we can see right now in our reality, right? So what does that tell me? That ultimately, everything is light, right? Everything is made up of light, or you can say electromagnetic radiation. If you condense that radiation, it becomes matter, right? And with this understanding, like, it's very important in spirituality, this understanding, because in spirituality, the one of the first concept that you understand intuitively, or by reading books, or by learning from a teacher, is that everything is one. So we are one with the universe. We are basically the universe, and the universe is manifesting into this physical form in order to do something in this world, right? So what is that something is, we have to find out, right? So yeah, everything is energy, and it is vibrating at different frequencies. Again, those particles are not static, standing over there. They are vibrating at a very high speed at different frequencies, and we can measure those frequencies. And since light is both wave and particle, again, this is again a very confusing concept. How can something be both wave and particle? But in case of light, that's what happens. It is both wave and particle, and depending on how you are looking at it and what you're using it for, it changes the properties of itself. So I'll just put some images again on the whiteboard. So this is the electromagnetic spectrum, as you can see, the radiation spectrum, and we can only see a small amount of it. If I can circle it, yeah, so we can only see this much from the whole spectrum. Imagine how much we are not able to see and how much universe there is existing beyond our senses that we don't even know about. So I want to talk about something called as a double slit experiment. Have you read about it before, or have you watched a video? I do have a link to a video, so you can watch this video later to understand exactly what the double slit experiment is. But in brief, it is an experiment which shows that the light particles or the electrons, they basically have a sense of knowing. They can tell when you are observing them, and they can change their existence from wave to particle and particle to wave, depending on if you are observing them or not. So basically, that's also called as the observer effect. And Einstein used to call it spooky action at a distance. That is the quantum entanglement. I'll talk about that as well. So a lot of different words that might be confusing, but the gist of it is that that scientific experiment shows that the universe might be conscious, right? So this is something that we always knew in spirituality, that the universe is conscious. So it was like that. So it's a very, very interesting experiment. Watch that video later and you will know. Universe is conscious. Every atom, subatomic particle, light particle, everything is conscious, and that is why life can spring up in any area of the universe where there is even a little bit of environment that is created, right? So you don't need to you can say so-called infect the environment with bacteria or something for the life to start. Life can start in inorganic substances on its own, and that is because of the consciousness that is inherent in the whole universe, in every atom, right? And that is the same consciousness that we are embodying as human beings, and we are able to interact with our environment in a very different way than animals and plants and maybe other life forms. So yes, it is very different being a human. And by the way, in the soul world, people are so-called dying to be a human. People are dying to be a human. So like they really want to incarnate as humans because we get to experience so many things and we get to do so many things on Earth. And Earth is a very, very famous school to learn, and everyone wants to come here. So if you are here, thank the universe first that you are here, and live your purpose. So we will know what our purpose is. Okay, before I talk further about the densities of consciousness and maybe a little bit about quantum entanglement, which will explain the law of karma to you. So we will take a little break. So if you take one quantum particle and keep it in Toronto, let's say, and spin it clockwise, the particle at New Delhi also spins clockwise at the same instant without any delay, and that shows that they are in communication with each other at all times. And that you can increase that distance to billions of light years as well, and the same thing is going to happen. And that, I believe, is a scientific explanation of the laws of karma, right? If you do certain things right now, there will be an effect created in the energy or in the quantum world somewhere, and the effect of that will be shown in the exact same way somewhere else, and it will be basically coming back to you because you started that, and it is connected to your energy now. So because that quantum particle was connected with this quantum particle, it is only responding to the same quantum particle, right? And this applies to the whole universe, because as per our theories of how the universe started, it started from a big bang. Basically, it was just one small particle at that time, right? Everything was condensed into this small area, and in that small area everything was connected at one point, right? And then it blasted everywhere and got separated by such a great distance. So yes, everything was connected and everything is connected right now as well. Basically, if you do something here, its effect can be seen somewhere else, right? And you can apply that to your life in the form of laws of karma. And I believe that also explains why we are able to send Reiki healing across distance and even across time. You can send Reiki healing to your childhood. If somebody has childhood trauma, then I have done that as well with my clients. I send Reiki healing to their past when that event happened, and it has a ripple effect in the present. So you can basically have, I won't say control, but you can alchemize, or you can work with the energy in the present, in the past, across distance. So there is basically no limit to how you can manifest, and like how you can manipulate, or manipulator is again a negative word, how you can work with the energy anywhere in the universe, right? And when we're trying to manifest something here on earth, then apply it to anything, right? So that is quantum entanglement. And recently I saw a scientific article where they said that quantum entanglement also applies to macro matter. Macro matter means everything that we see like in front of us, the big things. It can be applied to that as well. So yeah. And the next thing I want to talk about is density of consciousness. So density of consciousness is basically, as we know that the light has been condensed to form matter, right? It has been condensed into different frequencies, different densities. How density? Because if you increase the number of electrons, protons, neutrons, the elements keep changing, right? The density of those electrons, protons, neutrons is being changing, and therefore the density of um, consciousness is something, because the consciousness is becoming more dense as we become physical. So as physical beings, the consciousness is becoming localized into us, right? It is becoming denser as we become a physical being, right? I will just show you a picture where you can see the different densities of consciousness. In the first picture, this is so there are many different concepts when it comes to densities of consciousness. Some people say there are 4 levels, some people say there are 7 levels, some say there are 12 levels, but essentially it all means one thing, that there is a change from the so-called bottom to the so-called up. There is a change in the way that we feel in all those densities of consciousness. So you can say the one that I studied was 1D to 7D, basically from the root chakra to the crown chakra. So that is 1D to 7D. 1D is the most densest. The one on the one on the bottom is the most densest, meaning it carries the most heaviest of the energies. Consciousness is being very, very tightly packed in that, and it is also more related to the earth. So earthly experiences, right? Everything you experience here on earth. So if you go from the bottom here, one second. So if we look here, there is a, on the bottom it says, so I've taken this from the globalbutterfly.com, very good website. So if you want to see here, it says victimhood, and it lives by social conditioning and programming. And they always say life happens to me. So this is where it is basically 1D, 2D, 3D, and this is where the consciousness is most dense. And when we work on ourselves, when we decrease our density of consciousness, so when the numbers of the densities increase, it is actually becoming lighter. So there's a little bit mismatch in the naming and the thing that it depicts. So when we move from a little bit heavier to a lighter, it becomes life happens by me, basically hustle and grind awakening. Basically people are trying to make things work, trying to change things. Again, this is again ego and fear driven because of the societal conditioning. And when we move from here to here, that is true trust and love inspired. Basically we move into our heart chakra, which is our 1 2 3 4 4D, that is the fourth density, which is higher power and flow, remembering and reprogramming. Life happens through me. So basically once you understand that life is happening through me, then you basically move from ego and fear driven life to a trust and love inspired life, right? What kind of trust? Self trust and trust in the universe. And that only comes with knowledge, right? And probably experience. So once you move again up from here, it says enlightenment, but it doesn't have to be completely like enlightenment. Self actualizing, you can still be enlightened and live in the society. And here you understand that life happens as me, that you are life, you are the universe, and the way you have been designed, if you just live like that, life is happening as you. And you don't need to change, you don't need to put on masks in order to get something, right? So that is where it's the highest density, but the lightest density, right? So again, if we move here to this one shows all the different emotions that occur here. So on the bottom, that is the heaviest density is of the victim abuser consciousness. Again, nothing wrong with that. It's not bad to have this. We all go through all of these. It's a spectrum. Again, we all go through all of these things many times in life, and it's completely normal. But looking at this, we can step by step switch our emotions, and we can basically process those emotions to switch to the higher one and slowly shift our consciousness, right? So if we are having shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, again, anger, pride, so all of these things are in the third dimension and below. Basically it does say hell here, but don't go through that. So it third dimension, basically, which is the third density of the consciousness, and it is related to your root chakra, sacral chakra, and navel chakra, right? This is your lower ego self, and the frequencies are mentioned here. I'm not sure how accurate they are. Then you come to the fourth dimension, which is the heart-centered dimension, which is where you are self-empowered. So this is what we are working towards, right? We are working towards self-empowerment first, and then self-realization through this program, and then everything else manifests on its own, right? So here you have courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, inner light. So I always say healing starts with acceptance. So if there is a difficult circumstance in your life, always come to acceptance by processing these emotions, and everything will be good from that point on. Okay, I'll read this comment here. Manish says, when we are in the matrix, we act according to the matrix, even if it's a conscious choice, according to the best available options. We usually do not look at things as object and energy work. Yes, that is very true, because we are here to live as humans. And we are here to pass through all of these experiences. And in fact, we plan a lot of our life experiences before we are born. So we are like, okay, many people have described the image of them going through a grocery store and then picking out all the different experiences from the shelves and putting them in the cart. Right? So they're like, okay, betrayal, yeah, add to cart. A thievery, add to cart. Okay, a heartbreak, add to cart. So everything they are just adding to cart in order to experience those things in the present life. So it's not bad that we are experiencing these things, but it's important to have the tools to go through them and process those things and then grow as a person from them. So that is more important. So yes, we are living in the matrix and we have to live in the matrix. That is why we are here. And you can look at them as energy work as well. That is what I do. And having this knowledge, I can't help it. I see the energy side of things in like everyday things. Every day, if something happens, I always am able to see the energy side of it. And yes, I can work with the energy side while working with the physical conscious side as well. It doesn't have to be one or the other, right? I hope that answers your question and makes things a little bit clear. So here, if we again go up from here, we come into self-realization from inner light, inner wisdom, inner love, oneness. And this says new humanity consciousness because we are basically working towards this. The whole humanity is working towards this. That is why we are experiencing all of these things, because we have to work through them and reach here and lighten our density and uh, step on this ladder. And it doesn't mean that once you are here you can't go back here. You can, and it's okay. And that is why we are here on this earth, to go back again and again and basically alchemize and transmute these energies into the ones here. So again, this says heaven, but again, this is just a state of being when you are in the fifth dimension or above. And I will talk about the relation of this with our chakras on day 2. So that will make things very clear to you when I talk about the relation of densities of consciousness with the chakras. Anyway, so here you are in the I am presence state. Basically, you just are, right? Things don't matter to you, whether things are happening around you, but you just are. And this is again a different level of being. Again, it doesn't mean that you ignore your family or ignore certain things that need to be addressed in your life. That is a completely different thing. You the way you deal with those things changes, right? So that is why we are learning this information, not to escape things, but to deal with those things differently from now on, right? Knowing that we all are connected, knowing that the universe is one, knowing that the other person might be coming from their own traumas, knowing from XYZ knowledge that we are gathering here, we will respond to things differently, right? So again, this again says enlightenment, 12th dimension. We won't be coming into contact with this very frequently in life. Sometimes we might be. Sorry, it has happened with me when I conduct my meditation classes or Reiki classes. At that point of time, we do come in contact with these types of energies, and it is so great. Like, you don't feel anything other than unconditional love, and there is this huge, like, you literally feel it physically. I can't even explain it. So this happens a lot of times when we are meditating or we are having any healing sessions, etc., etc. So you won't be going here all the time, but you might be getting in touch with this from time and again during sessions, etc. But the thing is, we need to be here in the self-realization, and we can only do that when we go through all of this with knowledge and with presence. Okay, so that is all about the densities of consciousness for now. And I will just close this whiteboard for now. The universe is a cloud drive. Okay, so do you know what cloud drive is? A cloud drive is, in technology aspects, it is a drive in which you upload your data and it exists on the internet. So basically things like Google Drive or Apple, I don't know what it's called, Apple Drive. So you just upload your data to that and it stays there, and you can access that data from anywhere in the world, right? You can just log into your account and access it. So the universe itself is like a cloud drive. Okay. Yes, the universe has unlimited space. So your Google Drive might not have unlimited space, but your universe's drive has unlimited space. Everything we do here, everything we have ever done in the past, and everything we will do in the future, all of that data exists in the universe's cloud drive. Okay. And that data can be downloaded by us as well as uploaded. So that's what I say when I talk about karma as well. You upload data into the universe by the way of your thoughts, by the way of your actions. So you basically, if you want to download good things from that drive, don't upload bad things, right? So-called bad things. So that when you upload the good things, and that drive is accessible to everyone in the world, basically everyone is getting benefited, right? So when you are expressing yourself freely in this world, when you are being authentic, when you are expressing your talents, your soul aligned desires, you are manifesting things, you are doing good things in the world, people who are immediately around you might not like you. They might be jealous, or they might be sabotaging your efforts, or things like that. Very common, right? But ultimately you are uploading all of that good karma or good actions into the universe's cloud drive, and it is doing good for the whole world, right? So you still want to keep doing it, and people change when it's their time to change, right? You cannot force them. So just reading some comments to catch up. So yes, I'm going to an energy healing retreat in Mexico. So excited. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. Which one? Can you send me details? Okay. We are discussing retreats. Is that the same as Akashic Records? Yes. So you can call it Akashic Records as well. There are many different names that you can refer it to. So I have been praying to universe for almost 40 days, and I was praying more than 30 days to Bhairav. And today is Bhairav Jayanti. Even though I was going through a lot emotionally and psychologically, when then I felt better. I was able to do my puja very nicely. Everything seemed like to be working in my favor. So yes, Vaishnavi, I'm so happy for you. Uh, First of all, praying to the universe is we having a dialogue with the universe, right? And that is your one-on-one communication. And there can be anyone listening, right? We don't always know who is listening to us. It might be your spirit guides, might be your guardian angels, might be some deity, someone that you don't even know who is there with you, and you just address them as universe or God, and they will most likely help you by giving you the energy or giving you the healing energy to bring you out of those lower, so-called lower emotions, and bringing you up to a very nice place where you can then continue your rest of the journey. Or they might change things for you, or they might send a messenger, or things like that, or they might make you have the strength to face things, right? So many ways universe helps us. So are we going to practice any healings and meditations? We are not going to practice other than the intention meditations. I have still not decided if I should include a very specific meditation in day 2 because of the time constraint, but I will definitely go through the content today and decide whether to include it or not. Is forgiveness and letting go the best way to deal with karma? Again, karma is a very particular topic that I will go through. Let me see what I have to cover before the time runs out. Yeah, so not a lot is left. Let me cover that, then I'll cover the questions. Okay. So there is a higher intelligence. Again, from all of this, what do we come to know? That there is a higher intelligence. We might want to label that intelligence. We can do that if we want, but I have always preferred not to label it. I just address him or them as the universe. And as I said, somebody is always listening, so it listens. they listen and they respond. And that is what I always do. And there are things that we cannot control. So I can say that in life, there is also destiny, there is also karma, and some of that can be changed, some of that can be lived in a different way that was originally designed for us, because you yourself is also powerful. You have a free will, you have the power to change certain things against something that you already decided before being born, right? So yes, there is a free will, and there is certain things that absolutely cannot be changed. And you can say the ratio might be something like 20% of the things cannot be changed and 80% can be changed. And it might be different depending on different people. And we don't want to work against it, right? So if there are things that 100% cannot be changed, then we want to work with those things. And I have learned that the hard way, because I have always tried to go against my own nature, my own design, the way I've been designed. And fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, I have been designed in a very different way than any normal person. And therefore, I had to, think differently, and I had to really unload all the conditioning that I was carrying. And I had to really get to know what is exactly that, and work in the world as that person, right? So there are things that we cannot control, there are things that we can control. And the universe, basically we want to know that the universe knows what's best for us, right? It doesn't mean that we don't have free will, obviously we do, but the universe knows what's best for us. Therefore, if we are manifesting something and it doesn't happen, like you have been manifesting for, let's say, 10 years now, and you've tried everything, and you are burned out from that, and it's okay to let it go. It's okay to even take a break, right? It's okay to completely forget about it for, let's say, a year or 2 years, and basically come back later from a fresh mind. And it's okay to change your direction. I have changed direction hundreds of times in my life. I started doing one thing, went too deep into that, then I realized that this was not meant for me, completely left it another direction, saw some success, then I saw no, this wasn't for me, left it. So I have done that a lot of times, and it's okay to do that, because we are multidimensional, and we are supposed to be living multidimensional experiences in this world. So rather than going against those blocks, those hard blocks, so those blocks that cannot be budged, rather than going against them, it's okay to take a back seat and let the universe do what it wants you to do with you, right? So I'll talk about that as well on day 2, the cycles of spiritual awakening, because this will be explained in more detail there. Yeah, so each one of us has been designed in a different way. Okay, it's very, very specific for every person. And there can be basic things that might be same for you and another person, but there will be small little details that might be different. And I have only met one person in my life who is designed maybe 80% the same as me. And I have, she's my very good friend, and I have asked her to apply that technique to her life as well. And she also is seeing good results. So it's only because there is a little bit of difference in how she works. And I explained that to her, that this is the difference for you, and it still works for her, right? So we are going to work with this information rather than against it, because many a times we are going against what the universe wants for us because of the ego that we are carrying and the conditioning we have got from the society. I will now cover the questions and answers from the chat. Let's look at the questions. Is forgiveness and letting go the best way to deal with karma? So again, karma is a very, very complex topic. it requires us to experiment with it. So yes, forgiveness is one thing that is that can result in radical healings, not just for you, but for everyone involved. Now, we are not supposed to make other people do things for us in order to heal. We are not supposed to force them to do the healings or anything, but we are supposed to do things at our own level. And when, let's say, there's a strained relationship with someone, we can heal our cord. So there is an energetic cord between us and the other people that we are connected to through karma or through action, through relationships, and that cord can exist from many past lives as well. And the effect of that cord can be seen on both sides. So if that relationship is strained, we might be experiencing emotional, mental, physical issues because of that, and the other person also might be. It's another thing if they realize it or not. But if you realize it, then you can do forgiveness on your level and heal the cord at your level, not the other person. Heal the cord and yourself. And forgiveness is not something that can just come out of nothing, right? For me, I am a person who can just decide one thing and do it. I can decide, I decided in the past that, okay, starting today, I'm going to love myself unconditionally. And I was able to do it. Starting today, I forgive this person. And yes, it's done for me. But for some other people, it might not be that easy, right? So you have to process those emotions. Again, you can take help from therapy, from other tools that you wish, and you can move through those emotions to arrive at the final destination, that is the forgiveness and letting go. And it can come gradually. And by the way, that this can also happen that you forgave someone, and few months down the line you again have those same feelings. And yes, that is because we heal in layers, right? So you healed one layer and another layer came up after a few months, so you want to heal that now, right? And it's an ongoing work, right? So the next question by Gargi is connecting to someone's energy and feeling their emotions even when I am this word is hidden from me for some reason, even when I am not, I think, not talking to them for months. Can you explain this, how it works? Okay. Okay, basically, if you have some people in your life and you are interacting with them every single day, or you are thinking of them, or they are thinking of you, then yes, you are connected to them energetically. Otherwise, as well, also we are connected energetically to everything in the universe, right? But you can set boundaries. You can ask your spirit guides, you can ask your own energy, okay, I'm not allowing any energy from this person or from this event to come to me from now on. Okay, you can set that boundary. But let's say you are connected to someone because you are meeting them every day, you are seeing them every day, or you are thinking about them every day. Yes, it's possible to feel their emotions because in your case, Gargi, it might be because you are an empath. Again, I don't want to throw out words, don't want to label, I don't want to tell you who you are, right? So you can look into if you might be an empath, and you might be able to feel other people's emotions at a very sensitive level. And even when you're not talking to them for months, yes, it can still happen if you're thinking of them somewhere. And it can also happen if you might have something unresolved with that person. So you might want to look into what needs resolution there. I felt their anxiety, I had no idea what is happening in their life. So definitely that can happen, and that can also be because of the clairsentience. So clairsentience is a psychic ability. Everyone has all the psychic abilities, but we might not be tapped into them because we don't know how to and we don't know how it feels like, right? So what I feel here is that you might be tapping into your clairsentience, and you might be feeling that from that person. Clairsentience is feeling things that you can't explain. So Vaishnavi says, and today I'm doing this on the day of puja because the universe uh, and God and I actually to do something for my self growth today, and I've been able to do so many things, and I'm very excited and grateful for getting the opportunity to do this view do this with you. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi. I am so happy that you are here and all of you are here, and I'm getting to share this knowledge with you. This is this is my dream life. So Gargi also says, I feel karma is directly related to with our core intentions for others and also our actions as per the best capacity of ours without sabotaging ourselves and others. That is a great statement. Uh, I really want you to copy this and keep it in your notes because this is great. I feel karma is directly related with our core intentions. Yes, intention is also karma. So if you are thinking about murdering someone, but you are not actually going and murdering them, trust me, it is the same as murdering them, right? Our intentions, our thoughts about someone or something is the same as the physical actions that you are doing. That is because everything is energy and your thoughts are also energy. So if you're having some thoughts of murdering someone, process those, right? Take help, process those, heal yourself, and you don't want to carry them forever, right? Because everything is energy, and even thinking of something, doing something bad to someone is karma. Again, no fear here. Don't be fearful of things, but work through them. Vaishnavi also says, I'm very happy to do this. I want to do something like this, but I was not sure, but I guess the universe has helped me in getting till here. Yes. So every single thing, every little thing that you do, especially when you're manifesting consciously, we are manifesting all the time, right? But manifesting consciously is something that we want to do, right? So when you're manifesting consciously, you are talking with the universe, and the universe will give you certain things here and there, little bit of signs. It will send you messengers, it will send you teachers, it will send you friends, community, right? So it's very important to use your discernment and intuition to know what kind of community or what kind of teacher you want to choose. And I'm very grateful for you that you chose me and you accepted my invite for the workshop. So yes, what is intention meditation? So Niharika, in the beginning of this video, I'm not sure if you're here anymore. In the beginning of the this session, we did intention meditation to set the intention for these 3 to 4 days of the workshop. And basically, before starting anything, we want to start from a clear slate of mind as well as energy, and set our energy in motion to do something, right? So that was it, and we'll be doing it on every day of the workshop. So Manish says, what about negative people nearby who try to induce negativity constantly? Your thoughts? Yes, so people do what they want to do, right? They also have free will, but it doesn't mean that they should harm other people. I like that is the idealist world, right? We don't want people to harm other people. That is the idealist world, but it doesn't work that way, and people basically are acting from, again, I don't want to label it as bad, but acting from their lower density of emotions from 1D, 2D, 3D, basically anger, jealousy, grief, um, I don't know, like so many emotions that we can carry, right? So they are acting from those emotions because they are not aware of the fact that they can act differently and have different kinds of outcomes in their life, and there is a certain level of self awareness that is needed. I'm not saying that people who do bad are not aware. They are aware of doing bad. There can be pure evil as well in the world. That is a completely different conversation. But yes, so negative people can always be around us, especially when we are on the spiritual path. Sometimes we are born into such families, right? And it can be very difficult, but it is like a test for us to be again authentic, to stay who we are. Things will try to change us from time and again. Things will try to make us act from those lower emotions, but it's always good to go back to that chart, if you will, or go back to what your values are and then act from there. There can be many examples of this. So for example, I recently saw in a story of somebody that I follow. Her name is Cosmic Baddie. I don't know if you follow her or not on Instagram. So she shared a story on her stories that she went to the gym. There was a lady who acted very rudely towards her a few months back. And instead of just lashing out at her back, she didn't lash out at her. She just kept quiet, and she just changed her position where she was exercising. She went to somewhere else because she thought that, okay, this lady is rude, but let me not act in the same way that she is acting with me, because then what's the difference between me and her? I don't know what she's going through. She might be going through something, although doesn't excuse her behavior, but okay, let it go. But what happened after a few months recently was that that lady came up to her. She greeted her very nicely. She came up to her and apologized and said, I was rude to you a few months back because this was going on in my life, and I was just completely breaking down. I'm really sorry, and I'm grateful that you didn't act the same way towards me. And then they became friends. So again, this is just a small story, but it can be applied to big things as well. Uh, to not let negative people try to change who you are and who you want to show up as in the world, right? When there is negativity constantly around us and we can't change our environment, then it gets difficult. But again, there are ways to deal with that as well. I have healed this thing with intentions. When I realized I have done something wrong with someone, I put my intentions to help at least one person with pure intentions, no expectations. And yeah, I healed it. Yes. So that is another example of how you can heal that. Yeah, so you're basically resonating with that story, right? Yeah, great. So again, you will see that when you respond to situations differently, knowing the chart of the densities of consciousness, you will see those situations change dramatically. And I can just share one story as well, because we still have 10 minutes to go from my life. So I never had a good relationship with my parents, because again, they were completely on a different path than me, and they did not approve of me going into spirituality or healing myself, or even standing up for myself, or acting who I am rather than what they want me to be, right? And there was strained relationship. So I never broke up with them, but the relationship was not the very best. So what happened was that my father never believed in Reiki or anything, and I didn't force. Yes, there was a lot of sadness inside me because I wanted to heal him. That was the whole reason I started with healing, because I wanted to heal my parents, my father, because he was suffering from so many health issues despite being a doctor himself. And that was coming out of his emotional issues, and I could see that I want to help him. But again, you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. So he just pushed me away. And after a few years, like 2 or 3 years, he started seeing me that I am changing my life. I am helping so many people, and so many people are speaking about my work to him. And that's when he started changing, and he started asking for those healings. And he's basically he started healing, but then I think his karma here was over, and he passed away in 2021 after getting COVID, working with people, things he always loved to do, treating people as a doctor, right? So Manish also says that, does this affect manifestation? Yes, negative people around you can affect your manifestation, because environment is a big part of the equation. Your environment, your internal and external environment. So it's not to say that it's impossible. If there are negative people, you can still make your own environment within that environment. So as an example, let's say you are living with parents, and a lot is happening in the family. There's a lot of negative relationships and negative talk that is happening every single day. You can still have a corner of, let's say, your room, if you have one, a corner of your room where you have set up a little table and with your notebook, journal, whatever you like, and that is your sanctuary, and you just sit there for, let's say, 1 hour or half an hour a day, and you do your practices over there. And then anything happens after that or before that, just let it happen. It won't affect you in that case. So there are ways to deal with that as well. The best case scenario would be to move out of those negative scenarios. That would be the best case scenario, but not everyone can move like that, right? So again, you have to work with whatever you have. So I can resonate with everyone. It makes me unreasonable in their mindset. Definitely. This has happened with me a lot as well, and my husband as well, because when you open yourself up to other people in this way, telling them that I can feel things, that I have this, I can tap into my psychic abilities, I know what the other person needs from my psychic abilities, I can read their energies and stuff like that. When the other person is not does not have that knowledge, it can of course come across as unreasonable or even false in their eyes, and that's okay. Again, be authentic, be who you are, again, still. And you can in fact stay authentic, and you can filter your friends in that way. Right? I have as an example, I have friends who did not believe in anything I did at all before, but they never left my side. Like, they were like, I like, we support you in whatever you're doing, since we know you and we know that you won't go after something that is not right. So we support you, but we don't believe in this. I said, okay, no problem. And they now get sessions from me. So yeah. So Alicia, I got rid of all my husband's alcohol and smoke after he left in September. My frequency shifted. Yes. So in this case where there is negativity in the form of substance abuse, or as some kind of violence or something, then in that case it can be very important to actually change your environment, because you can't heal in the same environment you were traumatized in, right? That's just how it works, and becomes very important to change your environment in that case. So Gargi also says, when I explained it to my boyfriend first, he was a little confused when I gave him his emotional state without him telling me he believed me. Yes. So yeah, when you start to prove your abilities, you start to prove your path, and other people see the difference in you when you begin to manifest, they will automatically have a ripple effect and they will believe. Gargi, how to let go of past? So again, it's not a one answer thing. It's not it's not something that can be applied to everyone. What speaks to you the most about letting go of the past? Again, your intuition is something that you can use, you should use every single time when you have to make a decision, especially when it comes to healing. So if you want to let go of your past, think about the first thing that comes to your mind. Does therapy come to your mind? Does Reiki come to your mind? What therapy, what modality comes to your mind? And go get that. And even if you can't invest in something, just pick up your journal. And I always advise 3 types of journals. So one journal, keep it for dumping. So you dump all your emotions into that journal, specifically those who are on the lower vibrational. Again, it's not bad, but we call them lower vibrational because they are on the lower densities. So those emotions you want to dump into that journal, and you can dump your past as well in that journal. The second journal you should keep is the one for anything positive. When you're feeling really good, write in that journal. Write your plans, write your dreams. So everything that you really want to manifest, and gratitude, write all of those things in that journal. The third journal you can keep is about you. So everything you find out about yourself. So let's say I have a journal which is all about me, and I've been writing in that journal for a very long time now. And ever since I found out that you can access your past lives, so I've been writing like this has been my past life, and I was able to heal this because of this past life. So everything related to me that I found out, I just write in that, including astrological things, including anything related to my healing, my psychology, everything. Okay. So that way you can let go of your past by dumping in a journal. That's just one small way. So I remember somebody asked me about my name. I'll just cover that quickly. So no, my name is not Ria, it's Rio. And it's not because of numerology. I've been named on the city Rio de Janeiro. It's a very lame story, so I won't cover that. But yeah, I've been named on the Rio de Janeiro city. So Gaurav asks, any specific courses related to manifestation? You can go online on YouTube and listen to Abraham Hicks. I think that is a very good resource. Gargi Sharma says, by telling guides that I don't want this past energy. Yes. So that is also one way that you can do that. Again, not wanting a past energy won't necessarily stop it. It might just stop it from coming into your conscious realization for now, very short term, but you want to actually work through that energy. So no energy just disappears on its own, right? That energy has to be processed and has to be moved through your body. So when it comes to healing, again, very few people will tell you this. Healing happens from the body. Even mental, emotional healing happens from the body. So if you are stuck in the past, move that through your body by the way of dancing, by the way of art, by the way of just shaking your hands and legs. So you can do that. There are many practices you can find on YouTube, and you can do that with those guided sessions. So focus on what feels good for you. For me, gardening, golfing, hiking, slot machines. Yes. So whenever you want to raise your so-called vibration, you can always go to the things that you like, and they can be your pick-me-ups, right? For example, if I'm feeling really low, and it's not important to actually pick yourself up all the time. You want to sit with the feelings whenever you have the time and energy. But if, let's say that I had to conduct this session today and I was feeling very down, let's say, so I need a pick me up right now, right? So what is that? For me, that's a very delicious cup of coffee, right? So I'll do that. So it can be going into the park for a few minutes, right? So anything that is a good pick me up, you want to utilize those in cases when you immediately need to show up. So right now I have two journals. One is gratitude, good. One is me and my daily thoughts. Right now I'm working on the events that I feel triggered by my past as far as I can remember from my childhood. Yes. So that's great. You already have two journals. Get a third one as well to dump your everything that you want to dump in that. Okay. So thanks for all the guidance. You're welcome. Shavi Roy says, do you do Reiki? Yes. Reiki was the second modality that I learned after past life regression therapy. And again, I always went into these things being a skeptic. I did not believe in Reiki when I went to learn it. My method of um, exploring something is by getting classes into it, of it. So I went to learn Reiki from a very experienced teacher. I'm so fortunate to have come in contact with her, and it was a life-changing experience. And I did the whole all the levels with her. So Alicia says, I really appreciate this workshop, Rio. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. And I won $4,300 on Friday. Oh my God, that is so great. You manifested something, right? So again, manifestation can be something like you winning something and then things happening to you, or it could be that you get the strength and the skills to do something in order to manifest that yourself, right? Vaishnavi, should we sit consciously to help us get away and remove the past? That is one practice, you're basically describing a meditation. So you can sit consciously with your past. There is a difference between ruminating over the past, brooding over it, and there is a difference between unraveling, unpacking it. And the best way to do that is through journaling, actually unpacking it. And while you journal, you focus on first dumping everything, and then focus on changing your perspective while you are writing it. And when you feel that you have come to a great perspective, good perspective, then you can finish that entry there. And you cannot remove the past. Your past will always be there, and it's a part of your human identity, whatever had happened. But it's important to move through it, right? And come to a point where thinking about it doesn't immediately bring you to tears, right? So where did you go to do your past life regression therapy? So I went to amaranthos.org. You can look them up on Google. They are a government licensed past life regression therapy teaching organization. And I was taught by Dr. Venu Murthy. He is a technology giant in India, by the way. Dr. Venu Murthy is a technology giant in India, and he's also a past life regression teacher. And he is a very highly advanced, spiritually advanced person. And I know him personally, very good person. And he's the one person you want to learn from if you want to learn anything. They are highly booked right now, so I don't know if you will be able to get a session or a class soon, but I highly encourage to apply if you want to learn this. And if it is in your path, then yes, you will be selected to learn. And they select people by interviewing them. Previously, they did it through a form. I'm not sure if they are interviewing people one-on-one right now. So Alicia says my biggest win was over 24,000 in July after I watched, I don't know what this is. POW, WOW, 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 wow. I don't know what this is, but I really congratulate you to have won back to back. And that means that you are in an alignment with something great. Um, is their practice based on the Roti canon? No. Are you talking about past life regression? No, their practice is based on Dr. Brian Weiss. So Dr. Venu Murthy, who is my teacher, he learned from Dr. Brian Weiss, but he is highly advanced in the Eastern spirituality as well, basically yoga and the Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism part of the spirituality. He is highly advanced in that area as well. So there is something called as Prati Prasav in yoga, which literally means rebirthing, and that is exactly what past life regression is. So he has taught us from both the sides, both the philosophies, and they're not different from each other. They're almost the same. Oh, there is still one question. So can we change our physical body? Okay, this is a very nuanced question. Again, I don't want to limit you by saying no, you can't change your physical body. You can, but there are certain limits. The answer is yes, you can change your physical body with manifestation practices. That really means you practice self-healing, right? When you practice self-healing, like if you go back in my Instagram profile, I don't know if you will be able to see it, but my face has changed a lot. I don't know if you see it or if it's just me, but my face has changed in the way that it glows. You can see the change in me if you go through the profile, and you will see that with many people when they begin to heal, they look like completely different people. And I have personally seen changes, physical changes in people in just one day. So like there was a client, she came for past life regression. On the day one, she was very low, like she didn't even look up at me to speak. Her voice was so low, I was hardly able to hear her. Her whole aura was very shrunk, and her face looked different, and after the first session, when she came for the second the next day, I almost didn't recognize her when she showed up. I was like, who is this? So she was looking completely different, although it's the same person. And people can look completely different, but of course their face will be the same, but the way they display their aura, and there might be a certain glow to them after they heal. There might be a different way that they are interacting with other people and environment. That's why there might be changes, right? And some people are manifesting different eye color and stuff like that. While eye colors can change, it's possible to change your eye color, but you don't want to do that because there is a reason you have a particular eye color. But again, I don't want to put limitations on you when you want to manifest something in the physical body. I would say go for it, try, and it might happen. But again, also look and go back to your why. So why you're doing it? Are you just doing it for the external appearance? Nothing wrong with that, but it is very difficult to manifest then because your subconscious mind doesn't have substance. So your subconscious mind wants substance. It wants a strong why to do things. So that is all for today. I guess we are 10 minutes over. Okay, Alicia says powwow is an indigenous celebration. Okay, I didn't know that. So yes, I would love to see all of you on day 2 as well. On day 2, we talk about how we as humans fit into the equation of manifestation with the universe. And we'll be talking about so many things, including our energy fields, our chakras one by one, and the density of consciousness, how it moves through the chakras. And I might just squeeze in a chakra meditation. And we will continue this on day 2. And on day 3, again, I will give you the method that I use for manifesting my soul aligned desires. Again, not any desires, but soul aligned desires. And I will tell you how to know what to manifest as well. Okay. Thank you everyone for showing up, and I congratulate you, and I'm thankful for you, and I appreciate you, and I wish you good night, good afternoon, have a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.